All right, so today we're going to be diving into a part of construction that you might not think about every day. We're talking about construction painting supervisors. And after going through all these reports and articles, I can tell you one thing. It's not just about picking out a nice color.
Yeah, you got that right. This isn't like, what your grandparents probably picture when they think about painting. The tech is changing so fast, the buildings are getting more complex. It's actually a pretty interesting time to be in this kind of job.
So you say like this kind of job, this line of work, this is a real career path,
hmm
right? What does a construction painting supervisor actually, like what do they do on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, so imagine you're the one in charge of all the painting for like a huge skyscraper, right? Or a stadium. Or even one of those big modern hospitals. We're talking about managing tons of money, making sure projects are done on time, and you've got to work with like everybody from the architects who design the building to all the different contractors.
Yeah.
It's really a leadership role with a lot of responsibility.
So it's not just like, here's the paint, make it look good. They're kind of like project managers with a paintbrush and a blueprint.
Yeah, exactly. And that mix of skills, that's what everybody wants right now. The job market looks good. There's room to grow,
Yeah.
become a crew leader, project manager. Some even start their own painting businesses. So, yeah, there are a lot of possibilities.
That's a good way to put it. Possibilities. But yeah, it's not as simple as just slapping on some paint, is it? I was reading through the stuff you gave me, and I was really surprised by how technical it gets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're using 2D and 3D plans. They have to get the colors exactly right.
Yeah.
And they even have to, like, check everyone else's work to make sure it's up to a really high standard.
Yeah, that's so important. I mean, if the paint job isn't done well, it can ruin how the whole building looks. And it's not just about looks either. You got to protect the building itself. Like, if they don't get the surfaces ready the right way, it can cause a lot of damage later on.
Oh, that's a really good point. And speaking of protection, I noticed the materials mentioned safety a lot. Dealing with, materials that could be dangerous, working way up high. And then on top of that, you've got to manage crews with different levels of experience. That seems like a lot to handle.
Oh, it definitely is. A construction painting supervisor has to be all over safety. They need to know all the rules and make sure everyone's following them. And they got to be good at communicating too, keeping everyone on the same page, making sure everyone's safe, and that the job gets done right.
So it sounds like construction painting supervisors, they need this really specific mix of like
Mhm.
technical skills and leadership skills, right?
Yeah.
Because the stakes are high and people expect a lot from them. And it seems like our sources, they weren't sugarcoating the challenges either.
Right. It's not all, looking at blueprints and picking out the perfect paint chips. Like any job where you're leading a team, this one has its tough moments. Try to imagine you're managing a bunch of different people and then boom, the project gets delayed. Or like right at the last minute, they change the design on you.
Hmm.
And all the time, you got to make sure everyone's following those safety rules. It's like every day throws something new at you.
Yeah, because construction sites, they're always moving, always changing,
Yeah.
right? I bet that makes the challenges even harder. When I was reading everything, what really jumped out at me was how important problem solving is. And being able to like just roll with the punches, adapt to whatever happens.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You can't be afraid of a challenge if you want to succeed in this job. I think there was actually one study we saw that said construction painting supervisors, they have to deal with like 6 major project delays every year on average. So, yeah, you got to be able to think on your feet for sure. But here's the cool part. All those challenges, they're also chances to learn and grow. You're under pressure, you gotta make decisions, figure out how to negotiate and work things out when people disagree. Those skills, you can use them anywhere in any career.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening and they're thinking, all right, I'm in. This sounds awesome. I love a challenge. How do they even become a construction painting supervisor? Like, where's the starting line?
Honestly, I think the first thing is to just go for it. Don't be scared. You don't need to go to college for years and years to get started. What really matters in this field is experience. All those sources we looked at, they emphasized on the job training, apprenticeships. It's about learning the ropes, getting your hands dirty, literally, getting paint on your hands, and becoming really good at the actual painting part.
It's like any craft, right?
Yeah.
You got to understand the basics, how to use the tools before you can, like, conduct the whole orchestra.
That's a great way to put it. Once you've put in the time, you've got that experience under your belt, then you start looking for leadership roles. Maybe you supervise a small team on a project, or you take on more responsibility where you're already working. That kind of experience, it's super valuable. It'll make your resume stand out.
And I'm guessing there are always ways to learn even more, right? Like, Would it help to get a certification or take some classes in construction management?
Absolutely. It can definitely give you an edge when you're trying to move ahead, especially as technology keeps changing the game, showing that you're committed to learning. That's really powerful.
And, since we're talking about things changing, we got to talk about tech, right? There's all kinds of new AI tools out there that are supposed to help people with their careers. Like, I know our listener uses RoleCatcher, and that's one of them. So for someone who's interested in construction painting, how can something like that help?
Well, it's a really competitive job market, so anything that helps you stand out is a good thing. I think of RoleCatcher like a secret advantage. You can use it to make sure your resume and cover letter are perfect. It's like having someone rewrite them for you, but instead of paying a bunch of money, it's AI.
So it's like a resume writer and a career coach all in one.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. And the thing I think is really cool is the part where you can practice interviews. It uses AI to give you feedback, which is really helpful.
Oh, wow. So you can practice answering questions specifically for a construction painting supervisor role.
Yep, exactly. I think that's a game changer, especially if you're just starting out.
Yeah, and we were just talking about those project delays. Imagine going into an interview and you've already practiced what you do in that situation with the help of AI.
Right, talk about a confidence boost. But it also makes you think, with all this tech changing so fast, what's next for construction painting supervisors? Like, we're already seeing automation and robotics becoming more common on job sites.
Yeah, it really feels like a construction tech revolution, and this career path is right there in the middle of it.
That's a good way to put it. So yeah, it's really important to learn the skills you need right now, but you also got to be ready to learn new stuff to adapt to whatever comes next.
Wow, that's a really interesting point. So it's not just a job, it's a career that's always changing, always evolving. It's kind of cool, actually. It's this mix of like old school craftsmanship with cutting edge technology.
I know, right? It's exciting to see where things go from here.
So for our listener, it sounds like this is a path that's, yeah, it's demanding, but it can also be really rewarding. If you're creative, you like to work with your hands, you're a good leader, and you're not afraid of a challenge. It sounds like you could be building while painting the future.
That's a great way to wrap it up.
Well, on that note, I think we've done another deep dive. Thanks for listening, everyone, and until next time, stay curious.